my name is Michael. I'm the team lead here at the Old Town Village, and I work for All Good Northwest. My journey started in 2018. I was homeless, unemployable, and had an addiction to alcohol and drugs. I started by going into rehab and got into a couple programs that allowed me to get a mentor, and I wanted to give back to the community that gave so much to me. I was able to get a peer support certification, and then from there I started working on my CADC1, which is a certified alcohol and drug counselor, and that led me into All Good Northwest, and I had worked with veterans and homeless people on the streets. Some of the technology issues we have here is a lack of secure Wi-Fi. We have to use sometimes hotspots and rely on our own personal technology to get access to the internet. So it's been a challenge for us.
I'm Beatrice Yanez. I work at All Good Northwest. I started out as a behavioral health specialist at the Black Indigenous People of Color Village, and then I moved into the training and safety manager. We work on housing folks and getting them like their basic needs. Like after the pandemic, it's exceptionally more difficult because things have become like more virtual and really centered around technology. It used to be like getting people inside and getting them food, and now it's like getting them access to like computers, phones, doing anything online, right? Like you can't apply to SNAP without a computer, you can't apply to EBT, you can't apply to OHP, like you need a phone for everything, especially like right now because they don't want anybody to go in to the Department of Human Services. Like you really have to have a phone, computer, you need technology. Technology has become a basic need for our community. All Good Northwest has the heart to meet people where they're at, but we definitely don't have the technology. It's not something that people really believe that homeless people need. We really are working with like sharing one computer for one program's 120 people, another program can be 40 people. Like sharing a computer that takes like an hour or two of applying for health insurance, that's a long time. It would take a month. It would take a ridiculous amount of time to get everybody health insurance. And then that's just like one of the goals that people are working on. And so when people are thinking about, well, why don't they do this or why can't they do that? It's because we don't have access to getting them the applications that they're needing or getting them connected to jobs because we don't have anything to connect them with.
My name is Benjamin Granberg. I work for All Good Northwest, and it's been a journey. I mean, I was paroled from prison in September of 2020. When I was first paroled, I was put in a COVID vaccine motel as a precaution. I didn't have it. It was just a precaution because there was so much COVID in prison. And then after that, I was put into the Clark Center, which I got kicked out of for having dirty UAs. And that's when I became homeless. And I was homeless for about a year until I met Margot. And Margot explained the village to me and encouraged me to apply, which I did. And I was accepted.
At one point, you became housed, and this is the first time that you had your own place in 17 plus or 18 plus years.
It's the first time I've ever had my own place. And I'm 57 now, and I got my first apartment at 56. First ever apartment, which is it was scary because I didn't know how to live on my own. So I didn't know how to pay the rent, I didn't know how to pay the bills, so.
How did All Good help you on your journey to find your house?
By hiring me, first of all, but then they helped a lot. They paid all the first month's rent, all the move-in fees, so they helped greatly. Matter of fact, it wasn't for Beatrice over there, I would have been lost. I had no clue how to do it.
The amount of coordination that is like needed in order to get somebody inside is astronomical. It took months to get all the documentation in, even to the county, right? Like getting to the court and getting copies of documents, getting background checks, getting proof of homelessness. It all requires tapping into databases that are no longer files. Being able to like get all of those documents takes a lot of skills, takes a lot of navigating through websites and being able to acquire all of it and submit it, convert things into PDFs and turn them in by a deadline so that you don't miss out on an apartment. And getting into a cheap apartment that is within like reasonable cost that meets your income requirements is really competitive right now.
It would be really helpful if the villagers had access to laptops to utilize, because it would broaden their scope on reaching out there, apply for housing or whatever they need to apply for, get to doctor's appointments, whatever, talk to your family. The hotspots right now, they're too sporadic. I mean, one's not working, I believe, and we only have one left, so a more constant, steady Wi-Fi would be ideal.
Having computer literacy is very important for all of our staff. I would love to see some sort of trainings for staff who maybe aren't up to speed with the current technology and how we apply that in case management. We definitely could use some improvements, just so the entire staff is on the same page.
Maybe even possibly having like a computer lab at the village, because it would encourage me to learn more, for sure. For me, I've never taken a computer course, so I'm still lost when it comes to the phones or a laptop. If I got a laptop right now, I wouldn't know how to turn the thing on probably, because I'm just not familiar with them, so.
This grant would help us so much because the work that we do in shelters is already trailblazing. It's already new. It's already taking a housing first approach to helping people out of houselessness. And integrated technologies are going to be essentially a buoy to keep people afloat and have them continue to find success in the world once they leave our shelter.
If we had access to technology, I think that we could revolutionize the way that we house people and our numbers. Like, just in providing more human interaction and social services, we have doubled the amount of people that we've been able to house, and I can only imagine that it would quadruple or just be so successful to house people and get people connected to the things that they need and want. Humans deserve to like pursue their happiness, and I think that having technology is the next bridge to like getting people connected to the things that they need. The biggest barrier is the internet connection, like having hotspots, but I think that if the internet connection wasn't an issue, having access to computers is really the next big barrier. And it seems so simple, but like it really is, like that's how far behind we are. People that are experiencing homelessness are significantly and disproportionately lacking access to technology and phones and computers. And so even that learning curve of getting up to like the 21st century, I think it's really interesting, right? Like, people are not applying to jobs in person anymore. It's a really big learning curve, and these are really simple things that why you can't just get computers? Like, no, we can't just get computers when you have a food budget.
All Good has been very successful with helping people find permanent housing. Just last week, we moved 11 people. It gives me and it gives our participants hope, especially using the technology to help them get connected with other programs, other agencies, and to better their lives it brings me great joy seeing that happen, and the process from when they first started and to where they have moved on to. It's really it's pretty incredible.
When I got hired by All Good Northwest, it gave me hope. It encouraged me to stay away from drugs or do the right thing. I was saved pretty much for myself, because before I got hired, I could see myself falling into that same pattern that led me to prison in the first place. So, and eventually I got housing. So if it wasn't for All Good Northwest, I probably would have ended up back in prison, to be honest with you.